Everybody made mistakes that night. But at this point, I'm the only one paying for any of them.
I will shoot you! Show me your hand!
So truly, when it comes down to terrorists, the cops, the police, sheriff deputies, they would definitely be on the side of American citizens, hopefully. Even though we know cops can be terrorists themselves. But if a terrorist from another country came into this country and tried to do harm to a cop, well, surely, he would have to arrest or defend himself in whichever way he could. And surely that person would be prosecuted more harshly than an American citizen whose job it is to save the lives of other American citizens. Or am I wishing for too much?
Everybody made mistakes that night. But at this point, I'm the only one paying for any of them.
I will shoot you! Show me your hand!
Before we talk about the case against Dr. Chris Johnson,
Do you live here in town?
we're going to talk about Ishmael Hamed
Do you have an ID on you or anything?
and the plea deal he just got from the county attorney's office.
Back off! Back off! 740, he just started throwing rocks at me. I got one at gunpoint.
Back in 2019, Hamed threw rocks at a Maricopa County Sheriff's deputy,
Drop it right now. Drop it.
then pulled a knife and refused to stop coming forward.
40, he's got a knife coming at me. Drop the knife. I will shoot you. Drop the knife. I will shoot you. Drop the knife. Shoot it. I drop the knife.
So I want to be clear, this Ahmed character was a terrorist, and he wanted, his intention was to harm police officers, and he had a knife. And when you have a knife, your intention is to kill. And he was trying to kill this police officer. And the reason I'm emphasizing this is because, as we will see in the rest of the video, that the reaction to the guy who was a terrorist trying to kill police officers is weirdly different from the doctor. And just to give you a little bit of background, if you haven't gotten already, the doctor, who's a trauma surgeon who saves the lives of American citizens every day, accidentally, fired off shots. And he shot one in the air because he thought someone was trying to invade his home, and he didn't know. And so it was a whole big fiasco that you'll see here in a second. But this terrorist was intentionally trying to kill a police officer, but the end result is so different. And you can only think this can only happen in America.
Following the shooting, detectives found he was, quote, radicalizing and wanted to harm police to promote terror for ISIS. Ishmael Hamed was just sentenced to 4 years in prison, but state records show he'll be eligible for release in about 3.
The last thing I want to say is the United States does not negotiate with terrorism, and our elected county attorney just did that.
That's Sheriff's Office Sergeant Brandon Wells,
Thank you.
Hamed's victim,
Thank you, sir.
speaking at his sentencing. The sergeant had some pretty harsh things to say. Particularly, one of the things that he said was, the United States does not negotiate with terrorists, but our county attorney just did that. I'm guessing in response to the plea deal. What would you say?
I completely understand his perspective. He was there facing that danger. And obviously we have the luxury of looking at it, with getting more information. And what I would say is this: it's not a matter of negotiating with terrorists. We looked at the information provided to us, and there was a significant mental health history that we did take into account. And every case is different. We looked at everything we had in that case, and we made the offer that we did.
How many times have we seen a mentally ill person attacked, beat up, shot, killed, thrown into jail by police? It happens like on a regular basis. And then on top of that, those prosecutors, well, they don't look at their mental health. They just prosecute. But now all of a sudden in this particular case, and in no way am I advocating for police, because I hate to say this, but it's almost like you're getting a dose of your own medicine here. When the tables are turned, now someone's trying to harm you. But what I'm really confused on is going higher than the police officers. I thought that, as the sergeant said, the country did not negotiate with terrorists. But we are looking at someone who said they're a terrorist and they get time off, and someone who but actually is a trauma surgeon, a true hero, and they're trying to give this guy 10 years in prison for something that was an accident, something that he didn't know about, and you're letting the terrorists walk free. It's just not the policing in this country. It's the system, the courts, everything else. I'm really short for words on this one.
Hamed pleaded guilty to aggravated assault and making terrorist threats. As we first reported, prosecutors agreed to reclassify his charges as non-dangerous, allowing Hamed to get a lesser prison sentence. That's something they won't do for Dr. Chris Johnson. We confirmed they're only offering a plea deal with charges designated as dangerous and won't accept less than 5 to 10 years in prison. So now I heard about the plea deal from some law enforcement sources, and they reached out actually because of the stories that I did about that doctor surgeon case that I've been covering. And they said, well, this plea deal, the county attorney's office agreed to redesignate these charges as non-dangerous. So why aren't they willing to do that in the doctor's case? What do you say about that?
Well, as I've said at previous press conferences regarding that case, that's an ongoing case. It's set for trial coming up fairly soon. I have to be very wary of, tainting a jury pool.
Well, it's a long story, but at the most basic level, worried about a prowler just at his front door, Chris went outside and fired off a warning shot straight into the air when he saw bright floodlights blocking the road to his neighborhood.
Show me your hands now!
He didn't know it was Phoenix PD already there because neighbors had called 911 about the same man. Johnson was shot from behind by officers, and as he sprinted away in a panic, he said he accidentally fired off 3 other shots. As we've shown before in court hearings, a judge explicitly said he doesn't want to see the doctor in prison.
He's not the typical defendant that we want to put in prison, and so I'm hopeful that we don't get anywhere close to that.
I think people look at the comparison there and think, why is one getting kind of these non-dangerous designations for a plea deal and the doctor cannot get that in his own?
I'm thinking, man, it has to be something about this doctor, something that they do not like, something that's not being said, because there's another case where it was one of their own who actually aimed a gun at the police officers, and these prosecutors, well, they let him go with probation. Check this out.
As part of our reporting, we also look back at how the county attorney let the former state prison director off with probation and no prison after he pointed a gun at officers in a drunken standoff.
So a drunken standoff, this guy points a gun at police, but because he's the head of the prisons out there, well, we'll give him probation. And then you have a guy who's a terrorist trying to kill police. We'll give him 4 years, but he only has to serve 3. But now we have this doctor, trauma surgeon, who saves lives of American citizens on a regular basis. We want him locked away for no less than 10 years. And out of all 3 of these cases, his was the only one that was stated to be accidental. And his was the only one that was stated to be that he did not know it was the police outside of his house late night, shining bright lights through his window. But he's the one they want to lock up for 10 years in prison, nothing less. Again, I'm lost for words, but this is where I normally say that this is policing in this country, but we're talking about the prosecutors now. So it's just the entire system is all jacked up here. If you're not in America, this is where I would say, welcome to America. And if you do come, protect yourself, stay safe. That being said, we the people, you, signing off.